You guys just you keep coming around. I just keep hearing about you guys.
And I might need to tell Ryan to cut that up a little bit and just put it in my audio for my phone.
First of all, I love the game. I had a passion to play the game, not only football, but I love the game of golf. And what it lends to a person and the friendships you develop on the golf course.
It's been a pleasure being on the drop. I wish you guys all the best down the road.
As someone like you have that golf itch like a lot of us do.
I keep track of you, and you are moving. You are on the move.
So listen, I'm a big New Jersey golf guy. You're very kind, Mike, and you too, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be on just a couple of Jersey boys here talking about something we love. All the best. I really enjoyed it.
This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro, and this is Ryan Coulott.
What's up, Drop Pod people? Welcome back to Interview Thursday. We have a very special guest this week. Rod McRae, president of New Jersey Golf, is with us. We've harped on this before. New Jersey Golf is the former state New Jersey State Golf Association. That's why they rebranded, Mike, because a lot of letters, it can be kind of tough, but they run all of our tournaments here in New Jersey. They run the handicap system. They run junior golf programs. They do so much with our state that it was awesome to have him on as the president and the leader. And it was awesome to get some inside, kind of scoop and view into how the state's running their golf programs and how they're dealing with the new branding, how they're dealing with the tournaments that they run, and kind of what his job and role is there was really interesting to see and have. So it was really a pleasure to have him on. And we've kind of carved out this little relationship with New Jersey Golf, and as we've been previewing some majors and kind of navigating those waters there with them, it was nice to see and nice to talk to kind of the head honcho there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, our job for you and I is to talk all things golfing in the Garden State, and who better to have on than the president of New Jersey Golf. And listen, don't let it fool you. Rod's a stick too. We dive a little bit into his golf game. So another great person here, especially, when you're in the Garden State, talking about golf, talking about the history. Rod kind of covers all those bases.
For sure. So without further ado, we're going to send you to our interview with Rod. Enjoy.
This episode is brought to you by Gimme Cocktails. Golf season is back, and so is your go-to drink for the golf course. Gimme Cocktails is a golf-inspired canned cocktail made with premium vodka, real juice, and a splash of fizz. Choose from lemonade, iced tea, or pineapple, and stay tuned. A brand new flavor is dropping soon. Crisp, refreshing, and it packs a 7% punch. You can find Gimme Cocktails at Total Wine, Circus Liquors, Huddy's and Colts Neck, and select golf courses across New Jersey. It's a Jersey-based company, so drink local. The perfect drink to tee up your round or toast to a great one after. Follow at gimme_cocktails on Instagram or visit gimmecocktails.com. Gimme Cocktails. Pick it up. All right, so today we're honored to welcome Rod McRae, president of New Jersey Golf, to discuss the organization's rich 125-year history, its recent rebranding, and the exciting future of golfing in the Garden State. Rod, thank you so much for coming on today's show.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, Rod, we're excited to talk to someone like you and hear your story and kind of shed some light on again the whole. It caught me off guard, the new branding. I didn't know about it. Maybe Mike knew behind the scenes, but yeah, it's really cool to have you on. So thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
So Rod, to get this thing going, why don't you give the audience a little bit of a background about you, how you got into the game of golf, what inspired you to want to start playing, and to where you are today, kind of leading the New Jersey Golf, and to maybe the next endeavor.
Sure. Well, yeah, I grew up in Madison, New Jersey. I went to Madison High School in New Jersey. I've been in New Jersey my whole life. I went to college. I came back. I went to grad school. I came back. Apparently, I like paying taxes in the state of New Jersey. My father was a golfer. I played all the sports when I was a little kid, baseball and soccer. And I was marginally good at any of them. And golf was just one of those games that I grew up with my father. When I was younger, I was okay. I don't know that I was very good, but I enjoyed it. I actually really got into it. I would say it was 7th or 8th grade, and we lived in Madison, and we became members of the Madison Golf Club, which is a little 9-hole course. Bill Ryan was the pro over there, and they would let us caddy. And I think we got $20 a bag to go 9 holes. And I came in after caddying one day, and I don't know, I was just standing there and I was cleaning somebody's clubs, and a guy came up and handed me $1. And a light bulb went off in my head, and I ended up hanging around the Madison Golf Club all the time trying to make $1 here or there. I played for Madison High, and then I went to college. And, in college, golf at the time was a little different. It's not like now where they all fly to Florida and do all this crazy stuff. I went to school in New England. It was cold. I didn't want to play. They were asking me to do it. But I ended up playing rugby. So I really didn't play golf for college. And then I played through my 20s. And then it was, about the time, believe it or not, my son was born. I was about 30 years old. And I remember going out and playing golf. You don't have as much time to do it then. And I really just enjoyed being out there. I didn't care about being good. I didn't care about the shot as much as, hey, you got a little bit of time off with your family or some friends. It was a beautiful day. And I don't know, I actually got better after that. It's really kind of interesting. So that's kind of, how I got to where I am. My parents had been members of Baltusrol Golf Club in Springfield as well. I've been a member there with our family since '96. I served on the board of the club as the greens chair. But I got involved with New Jersey Golf with a mutual friend who was part of the communications group. And our local money management business started to sponsor the father-son. My father and I and my brother worked together, and we've been sponsoring the father-son for the New Jersey State Golf Association, which is now rebranded as New Jersey Golf. I got for 20 years. And then I guess I put my hand up. I ended up on the board. And then I became the treasurer and the vice president. And I guess my hand was still up, and they asked me to be president. So this is my second year of 2. And it's been a wonderful experience. I've loved it.
You said second year of 2. Do you have 2? You only have 2-year terms?
It's a 2-year term. So I was vice president for 2 years, and then you're president for 2 years.
Okay.
Assuming that's the way the board wants it to go. So we have some continuity with the board.
Is there a vote? So your vice president will be president for the next 2 years?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Assuming you get voted, and the vote actually is by our members and our member clubs. So in our annual meeting, the slate is proposed. People could propose a different slate, but yes, it's voted on by the 80,000 members of the organization.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that was a quick little offshoot. I did want to go back to, you got better at 30? Like, you had kids and were like, I'm going to start picking up golf more?
I did. So it's an interesting story. I was playing with my father. I remember it was probably in the mid 90s. I'd probably been married for a year or 2. My son maybe had been born. I think I shot 76, something like that. And I said to him, well, this is great. I'm going to get into this. I'm going to go win the Baltusrol Club Championship. And my father's been the most supportive person to me ever, but he did kind of chuckle. He said, you're going to do what? I said, 76. He said, okay. And he said, remember, I was in my early 30s at this time. He said, all right, 2 rules. 1, you have to putt everything out. And 2, that first ball on the first tee is in play. I couldn't break 90 for months. But it's a real eye opener. But I don't know. I kind of really caught the try to play better bug, I guess. And I started to learn to enjoy practicing and just enjoying all the aspects of the game. And that kind of what started it. But it was one of the best pieces of advice I ever got. You really learn very quickly you're not as good as you think you are. And that's one of the great things about golf. I mean, it's the most humbling thing you can do. As soon as you have it figured out, as soon as you start thinking that, oh, wow, I could do this, it goes south.
You don't. I think golf's the most interesting sport in that way because you have to love to practice. If you don't love to practice, and again, you could take any other sport, but golf more than any of them. If you don't love the grind, if you don't love to you don't have to beat balls on the range, but if you don't love to hit balls and spend time kind of working on your 3-foot putts, you're not getting any better. So it's one of those that's very interesting in that way.
Yeah, that's true. And I would say everyone would tell you work on your short game.
Mm-hmm.
I guess and again, we all want to get better. And that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But, if breaking 100's your goal, when you do it, it's just as good as anything else. And the really neat thing about golf that I've learned as I've gotten older is it allows you to compete. I think all of us, whether it was academically, whether it was in sports, whether at work or whatever, people like to compete. Whether you're friends in some way, and golf allows you to do that. Unlike any other sport, let's say you and I were going to play tennis. Okay, I love tennis; it's a great game, but we're kind of beholden to how good you are and how good I am. If you're much better than me, I can't give you as much of the game, and I'm going to get tired pretty quickly. Golf, it could be a grandparent and a grandchild, a wife, a daughter, a spouse, anything. We have adaptive golf for people with disabilities. With the handicap system, you can find a way for anybody to be able to play, and you can play for 50 cents or for bragging rights or whatever. But that ability to be able to compete, I think, is really important as you get older. It's something we all enjoyed when we were kids on the playground or in the classroom or whatever, wherever you were. And that's unique about golf. It is anybody can compete with anybody. You can have bragging rights over anybody, at the barbecue or for a beer afterwards. And it's a phenomenal thing. So I agree. You want to grind it out. And if you love practicing, you could always continue to get better, but that can be different for everybody. You don't have to be out there trying to shoot 70 or 60 or 59 now or 58 or whatever these guys shoot and hitting at 9 million yards. Everybody can feel success in the game. And that's one of the great things, having been involved with New Jersey Golf, is that you even see more of that, the ways that the game can touch a lot of different people.
Yeah. When we had Rich Kennedy on, we talked about the index and that kind of thing. And it was, it's true. I made the comment, I'm still going to lose this match, but Tiger Woods and I could have a fair match. He gets a certain amount of, he's got a handicap, I got a handicap. We can play each other, right? You mentioned a grandfather playing a grandchild, right? The skill levels could be vastly different, but our game has the ability, unlike any other game, to create an even playing field.
Exactly. And it's just great. I mean, you get to go out there, and it's an individual event, right? The ball's not moving, or it shouldn't be. You're standing there. You decide when to hit it, and where it goes is where it goes.
Yeah.
It's unique that way. It's all self-inflicted. And, it's interesting. I've talked to some friends of mine who've been playing the game a long time, very different levels, but all good players. And they said, I'm 50, I'm 60 years old. Why is this putt drive me crazy? I almost, someone give it to me. I don't want to hit it. I'm nervous. It's a really funny aspect of it. It's like, you've been successful in all sorts of facets of your life, but I came all this way. It's down to this, and I need to hit this. I need to play golf to win the match, and I kind of am nervous. I don't want to play. Someone give me the putt. It's a funny game. It's a funny game.
George Wall Ford in Red Bank, New Jersey is family owned and operated, proudly serving New Jersey residents with superior customer service since 1960. Rye, share your story about your experience there.
Mike, I went on a tangent in one of our episodes previously about it, but I can't say enough good things about George Wall Ford. I needed a new car. I had an old I loved the brand that I had. I loved, it was an SUV, but had 165,000 miles on it. It was just time, So I hopped on over to George Wall Ford. I saw our guy Jerry, and Jerry and his team were awesome. I mean, from stem to stern, they're there, they're helping, they're knowledgeable. They have so many cars on the lot that you can go in and say, hey, I want a sunroof, a navigation. I want this kind of rims on it. I want this kind of this, that, and the other thing. There's a great chance that they have that car with all your specs, the color, all that thing. Me, I didn't particularly care. I was like, hey, I want to be high up in the car, right? I need an SUV. I'm a big guy. I got a dog. I got golf clubs. I got beach chairs in the summer. I need something that's a little more rugged, a little more. Again, I like to be higher in my car. And I went and saw Jerry. He pointed me in the right direction. And again, it's awesome to have that kind of help and support from your salesman to the finance guy to even they got somebody who helps you set up your car, right? I got an app on my phone now that's got my auto start on it. I can locate my car if I don't know where it is. I could take a trip to Japan if I wanted to and be like, did I lock my car? And I can go into the app and lock my car. So even people helping you set up that stuff, just the hands-on approach over there is incredible. So if you need a car, head on over to George Wall. And go ask for Jerry. They were awesome there. Again, stem to stern from everybody. I can't say enough good things about it. It was an unbelievable experience.
So to Ryan's point, there isn't a better place to shop for a brand new car. Just call 732-704-1932 and ask for Jeremy Wall. George Wall Ford in Red Bank for all your car buying needs. Leadership seems to be in your DNA, whether it's your career life now, whether it's with New Jersey Golf. What makes, as you look at this 125 years of New Jersey Golf, being around, what is something that you are looking to do or to kind of put a bow on as being the president here in terms of, your legacy that you may leave with your presidency here with New Jersey Golf?
Well, that's a good question. I'm going to answer it maybe a little different than you might think. I think I've found over time that a lot of times when people are in leadership positions, people think about legacy. What's my mark? What's my bow? It's always nice. I honestly think that's the wrong way to think about it. This organization's been around for 125 years because a lot of people came and gave of their time. And if you look at an organization, whether it's your business, whether it's a golf club, whether it's New Jersey Golf, and say to yourself, okay, look at what it's done. I'd like to leave it in better shape than I received it. But I think sometimes people come in and they're like, well, I'm going to change everything, or I'm going to do all of this. I think there has to be a balance about that. I think that the important thing to try to do is realize as times change, the world changes, things become more modern. I'm doing my first ever podcast. 5 years ago, I didn't know what that was. So you need to stay current with the times, but you need to stay true to what you are. And again, New Jersey Golf has been around only because the people in front of us and on the board and our staff, who's outstanding, who works for us, just wanted to help. They all came in and said, hey, we love golf. I'm willing to give of my time. I'm willing to give, of my efforts. And it could be on the golf side. It could be on the business side, on the marketing side, just to help. And so that's always the framework I sort of try to take at it, is look at what you do well and try to provide assets. And that can be people, or it could be finance or your time to make it better. And I think the other thing, too, about any organization like this, and I think people get away from it, it's really about the team and the people you put around yourself. I think if you come in as a leader and you're like, okay, I know everything, that doesn't work. You need to find people with areas of expertise in certain areas and let them be experts in those areas and take their advice. So I think as a president of the organization, my job is really to help allocate resources, to ask our different areas of what we do, tournaments and handicapping and our charitable functions, talk to our staff, talk to our board, and find ways to give them the things they need to do the things they see that's really important. We have an excellent, perfect example, excellent communication staff at New Jersey Golf. I know you guys have probably interacted with them. I couldn't tell you the first thing what they're doing. And I think if I sit in there and tell them exactly what to do, which they might say sometimes they do, but that's not the best thing. They really know more what they're doing. So, yeah, from that standpoint, it's really to grow the game. We are an allied golf association. We work under the auspices of the USGA, who's a phenomenal partner. With that, we provide handicapping. We run a lot of the major tournaments from the state open down to our junior tournament. We run member golf days. We run our charitable functions, our Caddy Scholarship Foundation, which gives 180 New Jersey caddies scholarship money over $1 million. We have a relationship with Evans Scholarship, which is a 4-year full ride. We gave 8 of those out to deserving caddies this year. We have our Youth Foundation, which we raise money in our pro-am. We gave over $110,000 to youth organizations around the state. One person can't do all of this. You need people who really are willing to spend the time and put their energy into it. So it's to keep the organization going and to help it grow as much as it can and try not to mess it up too much.
I had one of my real quick, right? One of my female golfers, I coach high school golf. She actually won one of those Evans scholarships.
She did.
She
Oh,
did.
congratulations!
That's awesome, Mike.
Yeah, she did.
We can talk about that later, but I'm sure
Yeah.
I did photo shoots and I got to meet them all. Very impressive.
Those things are a dime a dozen, man. Those things, you get one of those, it's like hitting a lottery.
Yeah. I had a colleague once tell me that it's important to know what you know when I first got into my profession, but it's more important to know what you don't know
100%.
and be able to, delegate or figure out, the rest of it from there, because it is very important. So it is, I think that's a great answer. Like you said, it might not be the conventional answer to Mike's question, but I think that's a great way to look at it. Because if you're looking at legacy, you're looking at the end result already, and you're not focused on the journey to get you there and the steps to get you there. You're focused on what the end result is, and that's not the important part. The important part is making the right decisions.
It's not about me or my ego. I feel like we've done a really good job when I go to the annual meeting at the end of the year and I hear all the different reports of how much money we gave to caddies, how successful the tournament sure was, how much people enjoyed the game. And yes, in that, there certainly are some things that we are focused on doing. The rebranding was one of them. I could tell you from doing a lot of talks, New Jersey State Golf Association, which we continue to be, that is our chartered name. It's 5 letters. It's a lot to say. And we looked at a way to sort of bring it a little more current with some of the younger generation. We have our new logo, but it's a whole rebranding that has been very successful so far. So I think that was really important. It really is about growing the game. It's trying to get more people access to the game. Again, adaptive golf, which is for golfers with different kinds of disabilities, has become something the USGA has been working with all the AGAs to do that. We try to get into some of the more urban areas to get maybe some younger kids who aren't exposed to the game, give them the opportunity to play the game a little bit. So there's a lot of efforts in those areas. 9-hole golf courses. The USGA made a change where they allowed us. One of the things we also do, I forgot to mention, was we rate golf courses in New Jersey. Was they made it a little easier to rate a 9-hole golf course, meaning you can go to the 9-hole facilities, post your score, and get a handicap. You don't have to be out playing 18 holes, 7,000 yards kind of a thing. And so we've gone out and rated several of the 9-hole courses, and that's a great place for maybe people new to the game. We've gone over, we visited with places like Topgolf. You might notice there are simulator leagues and simulator clubs that are growing up all over the place. There was one in Florham Park that we went this winter. The place was packed. there's different ways people are consuming the game. And it's our job to just embrace that and help more people touch it. I hope I like to go out and play 18 holes and sort of compete. If people get there, that's great. If there's other ways for them to do it, that's great too. It's just a wonderful opportunity to get, people and family and friends together. So.
What kind of motivated the rebranding? Was it to kind of dip into a younger audience to maybe like make it more of a shorter word to your earlier point, or was there more to it to, maybe just in a sense, it's time for us to maybe evolve a little bit with that.
And I'll piggyback on that, Rod. How long did that whole process take?
We spent a good last year talking about this. Board, we brought in some experts. I can tell you that, different logos, different things were put in front of us. And it was very interesting. As you could see, how do I want to say it? I'll use myself as an older generation seeing it versus younger generation, how they responded to things. But I do think that, if there's, golf historically has maybe an older kind of feel to it. It was tried a way to make it maybe a little more appealing. When I was growing up as a Yankee fan, it was a blue hat with a white NY. That's it. You would not touch such a thing. Now it's all these other things, and you see more people, different kinds of people wearing. I've seen pink hats. I've seen different things they'll do, and so it's an understanding that this is people recognize the logo. I think we felt our logo maybe was just a little old, and it was a time to do it. And we're very happy. I give our staff and everyone who worked on it a huge amount of credit. They did a great job because it can go the wrong way. I mean, if you do the wrong thing, if you go mess up the Coca-Cola logo, new Coke, sometimes things don't work. But so far this is going.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I think kind of bringing a couple points that you had before about like the handicap system and getting younger and being able to rate 9 holes. There's a lot of people who like to play golf. And let's take that person that's trying to break 100. The chances that they have a handicap are probably pretty slim, right? Because they grew up, knocking around at some 9-hole muni course that they just were like, hey, I'm going to get out there, enjoy some fresh air. And they never got into like, and you don't need to be competitive in golf, but some of the things that we talk about, like you mentioned before, like the first time that you were like, I'm going to win the club championship at Baltusrol. And then it's like, okay, well, there's no breakfast balls and you got to putt everything out. Like getting more people to come to that side of golf where like you can play like, hey, you hit it in the woods, drop it out there, right? We don't need to hit provisionals all the time. You want a breakfast ball, that's fine. But getting more people kind of on the same page with that is a good thing to have in golf, and opening things up like the rebranding to get some younger kids, the being able to post a 9-hole score is a good thing. Like those are all things that I think you guys did a great job of taking steps in the right direction to gather the youth there.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, golf had a huge explosion after COVID. Okay, it was an outdoor activity. You could do it in distance from people. And whatever that's been 4 or 5 years. And I think everyone in the golf industry has kind of been like, okay, well, when is that going to kind of wane? You had the bubble. Now everyone's back doing stuff. We haven't seen it. I talked to the other presidents and leaders of the other AGAs. I talked to the USGA. Golf is still very, very popular. People really kind of found, they connected with it. You're right. Most people may not have a handicap. Maybe just go play out with your 4 friends at a public course, and you get 2 shots, or however you do it, or you don't. Maybe people don't want to do it. Yes, I mean, and a handicap's part of it. If people are looking to do this, you can join, the New Jersey Golf Association through a private golf club, through a public golf club, or you can do it online. But it not only gets you a handicap, it gets you access. We have member golf days. We do 10 or 15 of them a year where we will get a club for a day, and you can sign up. You can pay a green fee, and be part of an event at a place maybe you haven't played. All
which
the
are great,
charities.
by the way. We can talk about those if you want to. I haven't played in one in a few years, but that's how I got to play the Ridge at Backbrook. And I'll tell you, it's very cool to be able to get the competitiveness while also seeing a new place. Like it scratches a lot of people where they itch that don't necessarily have that opportunity open to them.
Right. We're always looking to try and find some ways to help our member clubs. We have over 250 member clubs in the state who are members of New Jersey State Golf Association. And, if they have some open space or we can do something and we can bring people there, we're a facilitator in something like that. So the member golf days have become very popular. We've done several women's only member golf days, which have become hugely popular. We'll try to get sometimes at the member golf days, we'll see if we can get some of the pros to come, maybe give a clinic or a lesson or something like that. Whatever anybody wants. But it really is about trying to grow the game. It's a wonderful game, and the more people who can get access to it, the better.
Yeah, and I can kind of speak firsthand as I did play in the 4-ball qualifier at Little Mill, and a lot of people loved the new logo. A lot of positive things were said, not only between myself and my partner, but the group that we were in. So,
that's great.
I do know that people like the logo a lot. So,
it really turned out well.
It's clean.
I take no credit for that. I wish I could, but I really can't. I stayed out of it, and that's why it went well.
You facilitated. That's what you do.
I sat there and I sort of went, okay, right. And lo and behold, they were right.
So Rod, as you kind of look ahead now, obviously you've seen some of the things that you've guys been able to rebrand, and now that you're moving forward, it's like a lot of things, even if it's career, life, it's on to the next thing. Like as you kind of look ahead, and you're going to be one of those, wise old owls that the next president after that looks at and says, hey, listen, let me lean on you for a little bit of advice, some consulting. What are some things that you see moving down the road for New Jersey golf? Is there just another way to expand and reach a broader audience?
Yeah, well, I think that, the game continues to grow, and it's almost like growing pains. Do you have enough staff? The requests to, we run, 38 tournaments now, with plus qualifiers. We run 8 USGA qualifiers. Those numbers probably continue to grow. There's a limited amount of real estate. The courses are nice enough to usually allow us to come play and do these events. Obviously there's some cachet to them to doing them, but it really is the generosity of the courses in the state to let us do that. How do you continue to do that with more and more demand? I could tell you, like you said, you played in our 4-ball. That's now one of our most popular events. It's April. It's cold outside. We set another record number of teams that want to play in it. So we're seeing that. So it's the growth of the game. One of the things I've talked to some of the other presidents about is staffing. Our staff works hard. It's a very seasonal business. They're very, very busy in the summer. Throw in a little bit of rain, and now you've got makeup dates and stuff like that. Are you sufficiently staffed? One of the other things too, and I would say out there are lots of ways for people out there. We can use all the help we can get. People can volunteer as rules officials. We have some of the best rules officials in the state. They're a fantastic group. Course rating, like myself. If you have a company, you can sponsor an event or something like that, which helps financially support some of this. So a lot of it has to do about the growth of the game, and managing that. I'd say that's probably the biggest thing that's everybody's sort of facing, because the spillover from COVID is here. More and more people want to do it. If you look at any statistics, public courses are full. I mean, they are full. It's hard to get tee times. Private courses have got long lists. Simulator places are full. So it's a little bit of a capacity issue of how you can manage all of that, because we do have outdoors kind of a set season, and you have weather issues with it. So it's just balancing all that. And I have to say, our staff has done a phenomenal job doing that. doing that.
So kind of let's circle this back to you.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk a little bit like how's your game this time of the year? Like I know that late bloomer is something that you discussed with me earlier, and that you can you get it around. But I did some checking on the Gin app, and I saw what your index was. So it's more than Rye. Let me tell you this: it's more than just bunting it around there, pal. How's your game measuring up this early in the season?
Well, I pretty well, I guess. I played an event earlier this week, and I'd say did much better than I expected, given the the lack of being able to be outside. So, it's always fun to be able to do that and play well. So.
That's a very humble way, Rye, of saying I'm playing some pretty good golf right now. You'd be getting a lot of shots, let me tell you.
Okay, wow. There you go, Rod.
As you get older, hopefully the experience starts to kick in. You've hit so many bad shots over your life that, I would say this last event I played in after the first round, I played very well in the second round. I played the course. I was down in Titicaca. I played completely differently. I hit about 4 drivers off the tees because I was so tired of hitting it in the bunkers. And lo and behold, the game got a lot easier if you could not be in the 8 sand traps over the course of the day. So it only took 58 years to learn that.
Well, I'll tell you, Rod, I'm going to flip it onto Mike. Don't let Mike fool you that he played in the qualifier.
Yeah,
right? They qualified for the 4.
Nice. At Little Mill.
At Little Mill, yeah.
That is that's outside of the Philly area. There are a lot of good golfers in that area. That's the other thing too, from a competitive standpoint. I mean, this area of the country, there are a lot of good players. You look at the qualifying scores in any of our events, they get better and better. The high school and the college kids are unbelievable. Now, I was a high school. I played golf in high school. It's nothing like that now. So, and if you look at all the practicing and ranges and people going into TrackMans at simulator places and things like that, players are good. Congratulations. That's great.
I'm just the jockey, Rod. I got a horse that I just ride, and I just continue.
That's not a bad strategy. You know what?
No.
I can applaud. I can applaud. Right. I can fill your water bottle.
Yes. Okay. Listen, you need me to carry the bag, make a putt every so often. I'm really there for the ride.
Right. That's very true.
Rod, let's talk a little bit about Baltusrol to put a kind of bow on this. Obviously, a lot of work has been done over there by Gil Hanse, and things are getting, from what people have mentioned to me, are getting wrapped up, that, membership will be out there being able to go play. How's all that shaping up over there? Because obviously your facility is one of the best, if not, if take Pine Valley out of the equation, the best that we have here when it comes to golfing in the Garden State.
Oh, that's very nice of you to say. Yeah, I mean, they've completed both restorations of both clubs. I can tell you the lower turned out phenomenally well. The upper is going to open to the members here in the next couple of weeks. It was a long process. Gil, I've had the pleasure of getting to know Gil, and I worked with him sort of early on with the first course. The man has no ego. He really looked at it from Tillinghast's and Baltusrol's history. Again, he was never trying to make his mark on it. It was, he was so inquisitive about what it was, how did it become the way it was, what was the original intent, what was the original thought. And I just think they've done a phenomenal job doing that. I can give a little highlight. The New Jersey Golf Amateur will be at Baltusrol next year in 26. And I believe our New Jersey Open will be coming there in 2030. So there's going to be some opportunities for the competitive golfers in the state to play the course in the next couple of years. And it's going to be a wonderful showcase. But it's going extremely well down there. It's just a great staff, great group of people. I was, honored to be asked to be on the board for several years. I'm now off, and there's another group of people, and I've always found down there that there's such a passion for the game and the history. Again, egos keep out of the room, and it's really what's best for the golf courses. And they've done a wonderful job.
Rod, I've been fortunate to play 9 holes on the upper there.
Mm-hmm.
As Mike mentioned, I'm also a high school golf coach, so I'm able to, we were able to connect and do a little home and home, which I'm fortunate to, reciprocate a place like that. Can you talk a little bit about the rumor is that the members like the upper better, and the lower is more of the professional, you're going to get your teeth kicked in kind of course. Can you talk a little bit about that juxtaposition between the upper and the lower? Was that something that Gil wanted to kind of bridge the gap to make them a little bit more not as far? Maybe it's not as far. That's just kind of the rumors. Can you talk a little bit about that for us?
Well, they are 2 different courses, because the upper really is built a little more into the mountain, and the lower, which people call the championship course, is more down below the mountain. So the first several holes of the upper are built into the mountain. And Baltusrol's held major championships on both of them. Yes, the U.S. Opens have been on the lower, and the men's PGA recently, the women's PGA. But there was a U.S. Open, say it was in 57. The historians will correct me if I get the date wrong. On the upper,
in the 50s,
women's Open up there. The U.S. Amateur was up there. The U.S. Juniors a couple of years ago was the most eye-opening thing. Akshay Bhatia and Michael Bjornsson battled in the finals there, and you can see how they're playing now. What I would say is, I guess that's probably pretty true. The length on both courses is rather similar, but the way it's spread out on the lower is just a little different. It just plays longer. The par 3s are a little longer. The par 4s just tend to be longer. The way the distance is spread out a little bit. But yeah, I think people. I would say that's probably true. The members, a lot of them favor the upper. The fairways might be a little bigger. Just it's a little easier maybe to get around. Certainly the rough is, especially this time of year, and everywhere in New Jersey, but the rough is a real issue. And again, in the Northeast, that's kind of the defense of our courses up here. Anywhere is rough.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's a fair statement that the members tend to have more fun.
I found it a very pleasurable round. It was you had to be a mountain goat those first couple holes to get up the mountain there, but it was a very lovely round, quite frankly. I mean, it was challenging, but also fair and I don't want to say easy, but you could, if you overcut it a little bit, you still could end up in the right side of the fairway. In my case, it was definitely it was a very pleasurable 9 holes. I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of it when we get a chance to. But yeah, it was really just a perfect mix of that challenge, but a fun day.
The key to the upper is you got to putt them all out, because the greens have a lot more movement in them. The thing about the lower is, it's always interesting when we have the majors down there, is the greens are subtle, and so it can kind of wander one way or the other, and you can see the pros sometimes getting a little not frustrated. It's just something they're trying to figure out. But I would say this: if we have a match at Baltusrol against another club, everyone's like, they think they're going to the lower. We take them to the upper, because the knowledge on the greens is so important. So, if you have a short putt on the upper, people are swiping away, we'd be like, you might want to putt that, because if it's really quick downhill or something like that, you can miss a lot of short things. And if you miss it, it's 12 feet past.
Yeah, everything really kicks off the mountain there. So yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the PGA Championship's coming there in 2029. Is it not?
2029. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys got a loaded. Yeah, you got a loaded couple of years coming up here with a lot of different tournaments, not only here for New Jersey's, but the professionals as well. So, Rod, I got one final question to ask you because I'm dying to know this. Being a guy like yourself who's played a lot of unbelievable spots from the top to the bottom to the east to the west of New Jersey, you got to take Baltusrol out and you got to take Pine Valley out as well because the opportunities that people get to play there aren't very high. But if you got a get out of jail free card from your significant other and you got a special invite to go play at one golf course in New Jersey, public, private, where is that for you?
That's a good question. Let me think about that. I got to think about that one for a minute.
It's tough because usually the answer we get is like we get Baltusrol quite a bit, and you're already there, so we can take that.
There's so much good golf around the state. As president of New Jersey Golf, I probably can't answer.
Oh, we almost had him, Mike.
I thought maybe I get a little slip on him right there.
That's not something I could probably do. There are so many good ones. That's the thing. I thought you were going to ask me anywhere in the country. I would tell you, I've never played Augusta, so I can't say for that. But of where I played, Pacific Dunes to me is still one of the coolest courses, and if I had to go overseas, I might say Kingsbarn. It was one of my favorites over there in Scotland. So
I tried. I tried.
We got
that real quick.
You did, yeah. That was good. That was good, Rod.
Hey, you have to be a little political.
Yeah. Rod, someone who's played and obviously gets to play an enormous amount and the courses you get to play and obviously being a competitor yourself there. Golfers are rather quirky by nature, I think. And I want to know, and I think the people would want to know, what are some of your quirks that you have? We can call them habits or superstitions as well. But what are some things that you have to do when you go tee it up there? We've had people say like they mark their ball in a specific way, or they have, what are some of the things that you have that would be interesting?
Well, the people who know me are going to tell me the twirl. Okay, it's something I was never aware of. As I think if your pre-shot routine, you've heard all about that. I am a big proponent of that. Please do it quickly. Don't take a lot of time. Some of this thing it's taking too much time.
Yeah.
But apparently, and it was pointed out to me, I stand behind the ball. I have the club in one hand, and I tap it and I twirl it and I put my other hand on it. It's how I take my grip as I'm walking into the ball. And it had been pointed out to me for years. And I guess I'd been doing it for a long time. And a buddy of mine goes, "What the heck is with this twirl?" I go, "What twirl?" And so then it kind of threw me off a little bit because now I was like conscious of it.
That's in your head.
And now, it's like I said, if you want to get in somebody's head, people set a car horn off and said, just ask them, well, when you hit the ball, are you inhaling or exhaling? Or, do you close your eye? You'll mess them up for hours. So
psychological warfare there.
It's this, I spin it, it comes up and I go like this, and then I put the club down. And so I'll give that to any of my friends who might be watching this, my goofy club twirl, I guess.
Okay.
Definitely the thing.
That's a good one.
It's a new one.
It is.
Yeah. Well, everyone's got something, something gets you going, whether you're over a putt, like what's the thing that starts the process, So when I'm standing behind the ball, looking, visualize, whatever the heck you're doing, the spin starts to go. And I would say this, it's one of those things where it's like, if somebody says something, then I have to start over. Like I can't sort of do this. I got to go back. I can do it quick, but that is kind of in my routine. The other things don't matter, but if I do the twirl, I go up, and something happens, I kind of got to do that again. So that's kind of the ADD part of my swing, I guess.
I love it. We'll have to get video of that, Ryan.
We will.
That'll be something
you're going to get about 100 of them probably. Here, watch the goofy twirl. You'll have them in a couple of days.
But listen, Rod, I can't thank you enough for coming on today's show, man. It's been a bless, and getting to speak to someone of your calibers is just another notch in the belt for Ryan and I. So thank you so much for coming on today's show.
Well, I really do appreciate you guys having us. And again, I say any of the listeners out there, New Jersey Golf, we're here to help you. Go on our website, call the office. If you have any questions, about membership, member golf days, there's a lot of information on the website. And, we're here to just help serve New Jersey. And especially if anybody out there wants to get more involved, let us know. We need the course raters. We'll train you to do that. Officials working on our caddy scholarship or youth foundation. There's lots of things you can get more involved in.
Love it. Yeah. Thanks, Rod. Really appreciate it. Take care, bud.
Anytime, guys. Thank you for having me on.